What's good, everybody? Public service announcement. If you're a fat fucking light heavyweight, Bobby Knucks, the Reaper, the hardcore masturbator, he's coming for your spot. As we know, Robert Whittaker, he got slimed out by Dricus, slimed out by Khamzat, slimed out by RDR at middleweight, even though it was a close split decision. And now, he's looking to go up, abuse some of the big boys up in that light heavyweight division, up in that 205 weight class, because he's essentially just locked off from the title at middleweight. Like, there's nothing he can do at 185. It's a shame, like, at every point in his career, ever since he became the champ, it seems like he's been locked away from the title. He didn't even get to become undisputed champ, really, because he was supposed to fight Bisping, and then GSP came back, fought Bisping, and then when, GSP beat him, retired, vacated the belt, he became the undisputed champion. Other than RDR, he's only lost to the champions at middleweight. He lost twice to Adesanya, lost to Dricus, lost to Khamzat. Honestly, if he were to stay at middleweight, he'd have to get on a fucking 10-fight win streak or some shit to get another title shot. So today, we're going to go over how Whittaker matches up against the big boys, the light heavyweights. We'll go from least likely to happen to most likely to happen, alright? Starting off, the least likely option, Alex Pereira. Now, I don't think I need to talk about why this is the least likely option. Not only is Alex going up to heavyweight to challenge Cyril Gane for the interim heavyweight belt at the White House, he's also just never going to go, Robert Whittaker's never going to be allowed to just move up a division and fight the champ right away. Like, what the fuck? We barely even let the actual champs do that, right? So yeah, man, I mean, at some future, technically this fight could happen. Would it be for the belt? I don't know. But Alex Pereira, he just signed a 10-fight deal with the UFC, and this guy's like 38, so I don't know where he's going to be fighting when he's 45 or some shit. I don't know where these 10 fights are going to take place. I don't really see that going too well for the UFC. But yeah, man, it's unlikely he goes back down to light heavyweight or, especially middleweight, given the fact that he's going to go up to heavyweight, which is a really, skill-less division. The opposite of skillful, bruh. Skill deficient, fucking metabolism deficient division, right? Crazy to think that both of these guys at one point could have fought each other. How did... thing that Joe Rogan always says, right? How the fuck did Pereira make middleweight? Actually insane to think about, alright? Next, another not very likely option for the same reason. The winner of Jiri versus Ulberg. So as we know, Jiri, the GOAT, will be winning the belt, So saying Jiri versus Ulberg is like saying, all right, will Robert Whittaker fight Jiri Prochazka? And the answer to that is definitely not. They're not going to give Whittaker, at least not in his first fight, they're not going to give the winner of the belt. Like, what the fuck? He's not going to come up after being on a 3-fight loss streak or 2-fight loss streak, whatever, in the UFC, come up and fight the champ. That doesn't make any sense, all right? And yeah, man, I'm glad. I wouldn't want him to fight Jiri, to be fair. I think he just gets slimed out. Jiri is the smallest, I don't know, maybe mass-wise, Khalil is smaller. We're going to talk about him later. But, physique-wise, I think Jiri is the smallest. Not shortest, but he is the smallest. He is the one guy that could make 185 pretty easily, I believe. And I wouldn't want Whittaker to fight him, alright? Even though they might be matched up, weight-wise, maybe Whittaker even weighs in heavier than Jiri. I would not want this fight to happen because I know Jiri would slime my boy, Whittaker is way too chinny for that. But yeah, man, we're going to be talking about the fights that are likely, not the fights that I want to see happen. Ankalaev, again, another least likely fight, and a fight that I don't want to see happen for a number of reasons. Now, I guess this is one of the fights that the UFC could start to consider. We're not talking about a title anymore. And of course, Whittaker is not going to come up, like I said 4 times already, he's not going to come up and challenge for a title. So this could be a fight that could happen rankings-wise, but I just doubt it. I doubt it. I really, really doubt it. I would hate to see Whittaker come up and fight Ankalaev because not only would he lose, he wouldn't even get highlight finished. Like, we saw him lose against Khamzat, it was a highlight. Lose against Dricus, lose against Adesanya the first time. These are all highlights, right? Bro, Ankalaev would just smudge this guy. I know Ankalaev's a striker, this isn't that. He would not stay in strike against Robert. He would try something, he would clinch, he would do this and that. He would just give him the Pereira treatment, essentially. So yeah, man, luckily the UFC hates Ankalaev as much as we do, so they're not going to feed him Whittaker. There's no way. They're going to feed Whittaker a big name. We're going to talk about some likely options coming up. Ankalaev is going to get some jobber that's probably 14th ranked, and they're just going to hope that he loses, right? He's going to have to win 5 in a row to get another title shot. Now, this fight happens if they really hate Whittaker. Apart from that, it's not happening, alright? Next, loser of Jiri versus Ulberg. Now, again, since I'm pretty confident in Jiri's ability to win this fight, we're gonna make the predictions, coming up. I do think this would be Whittaker versus Ulberg, and I don't really know if I want to see this fight, guys. Honestly, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I'd like to see that, Australia versus New Zealand. That's a little narrative we could have going into it. This would be a good, like, maybe fight night event in New Zealand, or part of a main card in some, numbered event in Australia or something. But yeah, man, fuck Ulberg. I would not want to see this fight. Ulberg is a little boring. He would be a number one contender. I doubt that they would put Whittaker up against them, since coming off of this, maybe after Whittaker wins one, then they'll make this fight. But I doubt it, man. I really doubt it, and I don't really want to see it, because I do think Ulberg could chin Whittaker. This is basically the story of his life, bro. It's just getting chinned. Who chins you, don't fight him. That's it, right? Next, in the top 10. So basically, some random in the top 10. Now, the reason this is not my most likely matchup is just because there are two more that I think are more likely. All right, there are two matchups that I believe are more likely than either of these three guys. But this is likely. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. I think Jan Blachowicz here, our big Unk, our big Polish power Unk. I think this could be the fight that makes the most sense, because they are both big names, both former champions. It is a winnable matchup for Whittaker at this point in Jan's career, since he's so old and like withered. I mean, I would see this being a decision. I don't think either of these guys are getting finished. If someone gets finished, it's going to be Whittaker again, because he's chinny. And yeah, man, I wouldn't like to see any of these guys lose, because I love both of them. But this would be like a good introduction into the light heavyweight division, and it would be winnable. All right. Now for Osman Mirzakhanov, the professional, and Guskov, I don't see this fight happening. All right. I don't see these guys fighting Robert Whittaker, just because these guys aren't big names. These guys are prospects in their own right. It just doesn't make sense for the UFC. Like, you're going to be building up the name of these guys using Whittaker, who's not completely washed yet. You can still use Whittaker. If you feed him to one of these two guys and they chin him, which is probably going to happen, you lost Whittaker, and then, the prospects got a big name. But these prospects, bro, they're not beating Jiri, my GOAT. There's no way. So yeah, man, I just think the UFCs are going to want to build these prospects up another way. I could even see Jan Blachowicz fighting either of them before they fight Whittaker. It wouldn't really make any sense, because again, if this is Whittaker's introduction fight to the light heavyweight division, why would these prospects, like, what would they really gain? Right? It's a good name to have on your resume, but Whittaker's a small middleweight. He'd be a minuscule light heavyweight. Doesn't make any sense. All right. Now, getting into the second most likely option, Khalil Roundtree. This is the second most likely option and the fucking scariest option, because out of all the realistic ones, this is the one that makes me shit bricks the most. This is scaring me, just the thought of this. Because these guys, they'd be like the same weight class. They're both locked out of their respective title pictures, right? Khalil, he's basically locked out of it because he lost to Jiri. He lost to Pereira. The only way he would get a title shot, maybe, is if Ulberg won, which he won't, all right? And then maybe Khalil would get back in title contention. But honestly, the UFC probably thinks this is a good matchup, which it is for Khalil. He's a good matchup since he's like, they're both coming off of a loss in the rankings. He's ranked number 4. I just don't want to see it, bro. I don't want to see this fight. We've seen how easy Whittaker gets rocked, and we've seen Pereira get rocked by Khalil. We've seen Jiri get rocked by Khalil. Jamal Hill, we can talk about him in a second, get rocked by Khalil. Yeah, no, and I think this would be a first round finish for Khalil, maybe first or second round finish. We need Big Bobby Knucks to fight someone that he can outspeed, and that is not Khalil, bro. I would not be surprised if Khalil has more speed on Whittaker at this point in their careers. This fight would have me shaking in my fucking boots. Let's avoid this at all costs, alright? Now, on to the most likely fight. Jamal Hill, the blob himself. Maybe if you asked me 3 years ago, I'd consider Jamal Hill, right? I'd consider picking him. He just came off of a win of fucking Glover Teixeira, his old ass. But at this point, bro, literally, what does he do? He beat old Glover as the worst version of Glover ever, right? I think Glover retired after that. Injures himself playing basketball like a fucking fat ass. And comes back to fight for the belt. Gets dominated by Jiri. Gets dominated by Pereira. Gets dominated by Khalil. Like, just gets dominated 3 times in a row. Passed around like a fucking thought. Talk shit. Gets dominated in all of his fights. Bro, he was telling Pereira, I don't even know what he was thinking. Oh, I'm going to knock you out. This and that, whatever. He was telling, he brought the little trauma chain, whatever. He told Jiri that Jiri got dominated while he only got caught. And then Jiri caught him. Told Khalil that Khalil was going to bleed. And he didn't. Bro, this guy hasn't won a fight in 3 years. 3 loss streak. Just a fat, chopped, and jiggly light heavyweight. That's all he is right now. Shout out Jamal Hill, bro. This is the best fight for Whittaker by far, and I think the matchup would go a lot like Khalil and Hill. Mostly because, like, Whittaker has the speed of Khalil. Like I said, it would be competitive. I think Khalil maybe he's younger than Whittaker, and he has more speed because of the age. But relatively to the light heavyweight division, taking into account that Whittaker is a middleweight, which, they're faster down there. Yeah, man, I think Whittaker gets the decision over Hill pretty easily. Maybe gets rocked once or twice. As we know, he does the chicken dance in every one of his fights. Shout out Big Bobby Knucks. But yeah, Whittaker's too fast and Hill's style is too simple. Bro has a 1-2 and the fucking leg kick. And his knees don't work apparently. I don't know. He has knee pads in every fight. So yeah, man. Jamal Hill, my jiggly buddy, say goodbye to your number 7th ranking, alright? Big Bobber is coming for your ass. What do you guys think about the Whittaker moving up to 205? Is he suited for the light heavyweight division? Can he get to the belt? Alright. Who is the best matchup for Robert Big Bobby Knucks in this division? Who's the worst matchup? Thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna go take a shit, alright? Ciao.